Oxford, a city in Oxfordshire in the centre of England. Probably best known for its prestigious university, which is said to be the oldest English-speaking university, with evidence to suggest that teaching began back in 1096. The year 1096. Musicians and bands that hail from Oxford include Glass Animals, D.D. Jackson, Supergrass, Foals, Hugh Laurie, as in like the actor Hugh Laurie. Apparently he's a musician too. And maybe most notably, Radiohead, whose song Creep might be one of the most busked songs of the last like 30 years. What an accolade. With its long history of intelligent folk, pedigree of musical talent, and a very pedestrian-friendly city centre, it may be easily assumed that Oxford is an incredible place for street music. But my friends, there is only one real way to find these things out, of course. Here is how I got on busking in Oxford. Now then, welcome to Oxford. I can't say I've really spent any time in Oxford. This is my first proper time. Back when I did my busking in Cambridge video, I said I'd come to Oxford to compare the two. Now, for those of you that don't know, Oxford University and Cambridge University have a rivalry, and every year they contest this rivalry with a rowing race. So I am going to do the same with busking. How do the two compare? And I must admit, Oxford's got a lot to live up to, because my 3 times busking in Cambridge have all been spectacular. That said, no expectations. It's busking. Anything can happen. Right, I'm off to go and find a pitch, and future me will take you through the guidelines, as well as the council's laid out recommended spots. The rules for busking in Oxford, or the guidelines for busking in Oxford, should I say. No rules around here. You don't have to oblige, should you not want to. Oxford City Council state, busking creates a vibrant and exciting atmosphere in Oxford city centre. To ensure busking continues to contribute to the thriving centre of Oxford, we operate a busking code of practice, like many places. The scheme sets the standards expected of buskers in Oxford city centre. You no longer require a busking card, but the busking code of practice must be adhered to. I wonder what a busking card was. Busking card. So, let's run through this incredibly fancy looking busking code of practice leaflet. I am enjoying the dazzling aesthetic, but I will admit it's got a lot of words and a very seemingly random layout for its main points, which are just kind of scattered about the paragraph. So I will condense it down just to its relevant points, you know, for time's sake. The first thing to note about Oxford City Council's busking code of practice is that the council do lay out designated pitches, and there's a little map provided on the leaflet which we will go through in a moment. The main points are as follows. Number 1, they recommend 1 hour per pitch. Number 2 essentially says do not cause any obstructions and don't cordon any areas off with rope. Number 3, busking hours are between 9 AM and 9 PM. Number 4, do not use the street furniture. And I still love that it's called street furniture. What a great name. Number 5, don't repeat the same material on a pitch within 2 hours of leaving it. Number 6, do not use animals. Number 7, don't leave belongings unattended. Number 8 says, don't position yourself in a way that could be confused as begging, essentially. Number 9, do not use mains or a generator to power your amp. Number 10, make other buskers aware of this guidance, or just send them this video. And finally, number 11, don't sell CDs or merch, but you can ask for a voluntary donation instead. I've discussed this tip a few times, but just in case you're new around here, a really good way is to use the suggested donation trick. Put little asterisks on your price list, say suggested donation. That way you're not technically selling your CDs or merch, but the public are aware of how much you expect to get. It's a good way of not having to do the whole street traders license thing. And that's it in terms of all the main points. Lovely. A very reasonable list, if I do say so myself. And we will go through the council's recommended pitches and their little map in the next part of the video. So let's get on with my day busking in Oxford. Now then. I'd like to point out that it's a Friday in the middle of January on a relatively grey day, so this needs to be factored in to today's busk. Could go Either way, that could be a good thing. And it could mean that I'm the only busker in town, or it could mean that people just aren't really in the spirit of street music. Okay, I think I'm gonna go for outside M&S here. My only issue is this road is clearly still open for buses. Lots of foot traffic though, yeah? That's a good sign. There's a dude here collecting for charity or something. Just asked him if it's all right. He said it's okay if I play. It does feel like this is one of the slightly less scenic spots for a city that is beautiful. Loads of beautiful buildings and architecture. It feels like you're in real life Harry Potter, which coincidentally, apparently, they filmed a bunch of Harry Potter here, and the producers of the films took a lot of inspiration from this city, so maybe it is real life Harry Potter. Spot number one. Then, after wandering around the city centre for a while, I settled on going outside Marks and Spencer's on Queen Street, which is spot F on the council's map.
I don't care if Monday's blue, Tuesday's grey and Wednesday tea on Thursday. I don't care about you.
Most of the main spots in Oxford city centre appear to be on what's called Cornmarket Street, but this seemed a little quiet at 10 AM. on a random Friday in January. The other main spot, like main spot, I'd say is Bond Square, which isn't far from where I set up, but at the time had a market stall on it and I didn't really feel comfortable there. M&S seemed to be where the crowd.
I don't care if Monday's black, Tuesday, Wednesday, heart attack on Thursday, I'm never looking back.
We're about half an hour and very good so far. Very good. No complaints whatsoever. Even the buses, it's not ideal, but it's not really affecting anything. Luckily, they're kind of infrequent. One thing I have been thinking about is how close the other two pitches are. So the Carfax is just there and Bond Square, they're very close by. So if there was like other buskers here, you'd be really close. Like if there was a busker in each pitch, it'd have to be a really busy day for it to be worth it, I think. Before you get too confused, let's go through this council map of recommended pitches. So spot A, B and C are all on the aforementioned Cornmarket Street. A is on the corner of St Michael Street outside a nice church. B is on the junction of Market Street. And C is at the very bottom of the road outside the very pretty Carfax Tower. D is in the covered market, which is only available on Fridays and Saturdays between 11 and 5. I'd imagine this is the sort of spot that's best if you don't have an amp, and I'd highly recommend talking to the market stalls first. If there are any Oxford buskers watching, comment below if you've ever busked here. I'd be interested to know how it was. E is in the already mentioned Bond Square, which I think is the main spot in Oxford. Judging by all the videos I can see online, most of them are buskers being filmed in this square, in this spot.
And there were fires in the marshes, there were dates up in the palms, as we told each other stories about people at the past.
F is the spot I was in, outside M&S on Queen Street. G is in Penny Farthing Place, which was like a narrow little alleyway and was very quiet when I was there in Oxford. H is in Gloucester Green, outside the old schoolhouse. And I is also in Gloucester Green, outside Friars Entry.
Just like you and me, we found our calling. Now there's a rest in the world is yawning. We're all come by.
My old nemesis. The roadworks have started. Construction noise versus busking. About 50 minutes if playing I've managed. Hopefully whatever they're doing is a short-term thing. Spot one had a bit of everything. the construction noise, the buses going past, friendly elderly folk give me a smile, the dude with his charity collection for the Salvation Army or something. The noise from the building work didn't last very long, and when it did finish, they came over and told me how much they enjoyed the music, which was a nice touch. It's gotten very busy now. What time is it? 11:30. 11:30 we picked up much more foot traffic than before. Clearly it's like most city centres and it doesn't get started till about 11, and it probably peaks around midday, 1 o'clock. I can't tell whether it's going well or not, if I'm honest. Like, I'd say it's going like average. Like, this is an average busk right now. But is that good or not for Oxford? Is Oxford usually dead? I don't know. I suppose that's why I'm here to experiment.
In the West, at times you can find opportunity.
Something I do keep thinking about whilst I'm stood here playing in this spot is how on earth this football got here. Like, how did that get there? As expected, around 11:30 AM towards midday, the place got busy, like city busy. I wish I could say that this meant things picked up, but it really didn't. Like, not at all.
And there were flies in the marshes, like the taste up in the palms. One lady told me a story, so let's try to make it last.
I've been using that clock the whole time I've been in this spot to gauge how long I'm playing for, and I've just realised that the clock's completely wrong. It's not 6:05, it's like 1 PM. Oh, right, I'm finishing up because I've been joined by another busker down there, and I've managed to stomach 2 hours, 20 minutes, but I'm blooming freezing. So I need to go and get a warm drink and heat up a minute. Before I do anything else, I want to heat up. Oh man, I'm struggling with the January cold a little bit, if I'm honest. But that wasn't too bad in that spot. Hopefully for spot 2 I can get in one of the more historic and scenic places. Look at this building. It's now a Pret, but look at this building, it's so nice. I might have to just go to Pret just because it's such a cool building. Feeling a bit under the weather, so I've got one of these orange turmeric and cayenne shots. Hoping that will help me out. So spot 1 there, it went alright. It's 2 hours 20 minutes of playing and I made £37.66. So like, not so bad. I think we've got to factor in the fact that it's January, it's cold. It's like that blue week, I think. It's supposedly the most depressing week of the year. Bottoms up. Wow. But yeah, overall, I'd say the vibe's pretty good. If we factor in the January thing, I'd say the vibe's pretty good. If this is Oxford at like 70% January vibes, then I can imagine on like a peak summer's day, or even on a weekend, or even in the Christmas time, this would be a great place to busk. But it'll be intriguing to see how spot 2 goes. I'm hopefully going to be able to set up along the street with all the scenic buildings. Hopefully that will bring me back to life. Alright, I think I'm going to go here for spot 2, outside this church, the City Church of Oxford. Whoa, dude. I'm excited for this spot. It feels a bit more atmospheric. Spot number 2. As a busker and somebody that makes most of their income through busking at the current moment, I'm not fussy about busking pitches. But if I do have a choice of pitch, and I don't feel it's necessarily going to affect donations, acknowledgement, attention, all the important stuff, then I'll always take the slightly more scenic spot.
What I give to be there now, instead of working we will walk the sun.
For spot 2, I set up in pitch A of the council's map, outside St Michael of the North Gate Church. And as soon as I hit that first chord, a familiar comfort came back. Gone were the times of the M&S shopping area.
Catching flights to the USA.
August Radio Project, yeah. I'm based in Brighton.
Oh, that's the best country in the whole.
Yeah, the best place in Britain, yeah. Friendly gentleman there. That's the first like proper interaction with a stranger I've had, which is concerning really, because usually about 4 or 5 of those happen per set. But maybe it's just January, man, I don't know. I've made the comparison a fair few times in the video already, but Oxford is very reminiscent of Cambridge. You can see why the two kind of come as a pair. Similar buildings, similar demographic. I'd say the main difference on appearance really is size. Cambridge is definitely a slightly bigger city centre, with its main busking pitches being slightly further apart, slightly more spread out. However, during my time in spot 2, I did notice another stark difference between Cambridge and Oxford. And maybe I haven't been to Oxford enough times to really judge properly. But there seemed to be a particular attitude shift in Oxford towards busking as to what I have experienced in Cambridge. You're right there, mate.
You know, Jews are very clever people.
Who?
Jewish people are very clever.
Yeah.
Your IQ is agricultural language is 150 and go.
Yours is?
Yes, I'm already famous on TikTok.
150 IQ?
Yeah.
Dude, that's bonkers.
This is totally random.
Yeah.
I know you.
Me?
I travelled America with Laura.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
An odd place and time.
Yeah, a little bit. I was wondering if it's a bit like January and grey sky and everyone's a bit like... Now I'm not sure if I was just having an off day. Perhaps the January blues was really in the air. And perhaps the students had exams all day. And the last thing they cared for was some blonde dude rocking up with a really rad looking guitar and playing Green Day songs. American country. But the place just felt like it lacked this sort of certain warmth and kindness that I'm used to.
Fingers black, I wish the sunrise sees he is a guy from school.
I mean, meh is how I'm feeling right now. It looks like Cambridge, but it feels more like Birmingham. There's a lack of smile. It doesn't feel as generous. It's like people have a reluctance to give here. That's what it feels like. And that could be the season, but I mean, a week ago I was on Hastings Seafront where I would get like 1 donation per song by the one person that passed me. And you can watch that in a couple of videos ago. So I don't know if the January thing is an excuse. Perhaps it's somewhere I need to return to in the summer to get a fair comparison. It's not bad, don't get me wrong, that sounds overwhelmingly negative, but it's not blowing me away. And I hate to say it, but Cambridge has blown me away 3 times in a row. Cambridge is winning the busking boat race at this point, unless something crazy is about to happen. All in all, I didn't have a bad time in spot 2. And I did enjoy the aesthetic. Perhaps if the sun had been out, perhaps the warmth would have fed through a little bit more. Perhaps Oxford is going to go on the list of places that I really should return to give it a fair chance. don't want this video to be negative. I want it to be like, you know, insightful and useful. Because I can imagine that this place does have its good days. Today is just one of those average days. I think, anyway. I'm giving Oxford the benefit of the doubt. I think that Charlie, who's Laura's friend, who is the one that recognised me earlier, summed it up best when she said this place can be odd at times. That's what it feels like. It feels like an odd at times place. Alright, a few more songs and then we're done. I'm kind of counting them down at this point, trying to enjoy myself as much as I possibly can. It's just hard when people aren't really smiling over, or I actually find that more difficult than the lower donations. It's like, I just like a few smiles and a, you know, a wave. That would be cool. Come on, man, it's life. We've got nothing else to compare it to. Oh, don't mind me, I'm just walking around Hogwarts. This is actually the old Oxford prison, but I think it's like a museum or something now. Wouldn't be worth busking here though. There's no one around. Well, except one person. And that's my day in Oxford done. I don't want to be negative, and I feel like I've been a bit negative this whole video. Maybe I've also got the January blues. It wasn't a bad busk. It just didn't live up to expectation, and I guess that's because I compared it to Cambridge. But I've only ever been to Cambridge in like peak seasons. Maybe if I went to Cambridge today or tomorrow, it would be equally as average. That last spot there, I made £24.40. So the total for the day isn't too bad. You know, for a Friday in January, you know, it's fine. It is fine. There was just a weird offness. There was just a few odd things that didn't feel right. Maybe it's this area of the world. Like, you know, I've been to Bath, I've been to Gloucester, which aren't too far, and neither of them were that great, you know? They were sort of average busks for what I thought they would be. Maybe Oxford's the same. I don't know. So to end this video on a more positive note, I'm going to set you a challenge. If you're local to Oxford, then I want you to come busking. And I want you to let me know what it's like. So we can get a good range of experiences. And if you're a local to Oxford and you busk here frequently, then let us know how it usually is in the comments. Is this a typical Oxford experience? Or have I just come on an off day? Or have I just had an incredibly successful day for Oxford and should be being a lot more grateful? I probably should be being more grateful anyway. Right, I'm rambling. I'm going to, I don't know, try and nurse my throat a little bit because I still have many busking missions for the next few days to complete, which you will see in future videos. For now, I will hand you back to future me to round off this adventure. Woo! Oxford then, not quite as good as Cambridge. That all said, I fully acknowledge it could have been an off day. I'd say that judging by the council's enthusiasm towards busking, having all their designated pitches, as well as the many videos you can find of people busking in Oxford online, that Oxford seems to be a place that is frequented by many a street entertainer, and there must be something drawing them towards it. So maybe Oxford is good after all. Woo! If you like this video, then please give it a like. If you're new around here, then hit subscribe. True fans can turn the notifications on, and if you wish to give me some kind of online donation, and there is a super thanks button, much appreciated. There will be an exclusive behind the scenes busking in Oxford video up on Patreon. So if you do have a bit of extra cash lying around, and this is a great way to support my journey, which in turn hopefully supports lots of other musicians and buskers. Link is in the description. This video was brought to you by me. I'm not a sponsored YouTuber yet. I haven't got a big brand giving me dosh to fund all this. So I'm sponsoring it myself with these ARP notebooks, an official merch item from me. I've been mentioning these a lot on my social medias, but I'm selling these on my website. I had them printed a few years ago, never really sold any, and then suddenly sold a few. So I've been promoting them again. And it's a great way of supporting my journey and actually getting something in return. They're exclusive. I'm not gonna be printing them again. And I drew and designed all this and put them all together. So they're dead cool. Printed on recycled paper too. And it's just like a plain notebook for you to write all your busking set lists, song lyrics, video ideas, maybe just doodle, I don't know. So yeah, the link to buy these is in the description. And yeah, you're doing a really cool thing. And hopefully you get something that you consider cool in return. Woo! I am August Radio Project and I make videos that come out every Monday. If you don't want to wait for the next one, there are many others on the channel as well as one that will appear on the screen any moment now. Or maybe it's already there, I don't know. I'll see you in the next one. Peace, love, and happiness.